Hey, it's almost Thanksgiving, right? The good thing, this new YouTube channel, it's all about feeding family and friends. I'm pretty sure Turkey Day falls under that category. So instead of looking at this pretty face, let's make some dinner. Here we go. Oh yeah! Bad days ahead! Bad days ahead! Bad days ahead! Bad days ahead! How's it going? Welcome to our first video series, Conquering Thanksgiving. Today in episode 1, we're going to talk about the turkey. While I try and get this camera in focus, don't forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, hit that bell notification so you're informed when new content is up. Here is our first of 2 supplies lists. Feel free to pause so you can write this down to ensure that you have all the information you need during this video. We're about to get started. Here we have our vegetables that we're going to use to line the bottom of our hotel pan when cooking our turkey. The reason for this is twofold. 1, to keep the bird off the actual pan, and 2, we're going to use these in our stuffing when we're done. We're picking our sage leaves off because these we will julienne up and use in our stuffing. But that's for another video. What we will use though is the stems of the sage leaves, chopped up and thrown in our pan. Why? Because any chance you have to add flavor to a dish, you should. Speaking of new videos, we plan to have a few more out before Thanksgiving, helping you finish up the basics of how to conquer Thanksgiving. As we dice up the celery, we're going to cut the tops and the bottom off and save that for our stock. Our goal here is a large dice, which is roughly 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. It gives you a large enough cube that during the roasting process, it is just the right size to add to our stuffing, which you'll see in another video when it's all said and done. Please remember, when using a knife, be careful, watch your thumb, and if you need to, have Band-Aids handy, just in case. After this celery's all diced up, we're going to go ahead and throw it in the pan and get ready to dice up our onion. There's a couple of ways to dice up an onion. This is the method that I have found is the easiest, the fastest, and the most consistent for myself. After I've finished scraping the rest of this celery off of our cutting board, we can go ahead and get ready to dice this onion. Now there's a couple ways to dice an onion. This is the way that I have found works for me. First, I cut off the top of the onion. Then I slice the onion directly in half. I make sure that the root end is on both pieces of the onion. Let's go ahead and get both sides of these onions peeled. One thing to look out for is if any of the flesh is not as high quality as you would like it to be. If it's not, go ahead and remove that with the skin. There's honestly no point in keeping bad product or putting bad product in a dish that you're trying to make, because ultimately the goal is for it to taste as good as it can. As you see, we're almost cutting fully through our onion. This would be known as a julienne cut, but because we're leaving the root on the end of our onion pieces, it's acting as an anchor to keep our onion together. After we've done that, we're going to finish our dice by rotating the onion and then going completely through to get our 3/4 by 3/4 by 3/4 inch cube. We're going to go ahead and finish dicing up the other onion and getting all of this in the pan. While we finish this, please feel free to leave a comment below. Let us know what you'd like to see us make. What types of dishes are you having a hard time trying to conquer? Our goal here is to make mistakes, find out how to fix those mistakes, laugh at those mistakes, and in the end, enjoy eating a good meal with family and friends. So we're almost done dicing up these onions and getting them in the pan. Again, this will act as a nice layer between our turkey and our pan while it roasts. In the end, all of these vegetables will end up in our stuffing recipe. Because this is Thanksgiving and fat is flavor, we're going to go ahead and cube up half a pound of butter and add that to our roasting pan. Now, the butter that I like to use is an Irish butter called Kerrygold. They're not paying me to say this. I just happen to like their product a lot. And it's one of those things that you can buy in most grocery stores. The Kerrygold butter that I get is always unsalted. Now I'm going to go ahead and just tear pieces of this butter off and throw them in the pan. While acting as flavor, because we all know fat equals flavor, this butter will also help keep that turkey moist during its roasting cycle. At this time, I like to preheat the oven. I start at 325. Not to worry, we will increase the temperature as this turkey cooks. We're now about to enter phase 2, conquering Thanksgiving, the turkey. Here's our list for our next phase. The supplies we're going to need is a chef's knife, a cutting board able to handle raw proteins, 2 whole limes, 3 blood oranges, and 1 whole turkey. I also have an herb and salt and pepper rub that I've made. That's not on this list. We'll talk about that later in the episode. One of the things we need to pay attention to is proper sanitation techniques because we're dealing with raw poultry. We want to make sure that any ingredients we're going to include in the cooking of our bird are prepped and ready to go beforehand. We're going to first go ahead and quarter up our blood oranges. A blood orange, I like to think, is a mixture between a grapefruit, an orange, and a lime. The flavor is fantastic and can be used in anything from marinades, salad dressings, or in this case, a way to keep our large poultry item moist and add flavor during its roasting process. After the blood oranges are quartered, we're going to go ahead and quarter our limes. The good thing is these limes happen to be pretty juicy today. If they're not, feel free to roll them on the cutting board a little to help release its juices. We're now ready to deal with the raw turkey. The neck is in this cavity right here. Everything else, don't forget. It's in a white bag and it's stuffed right here in the turkey. Pull it out, take all of these items out of the bag, and add them to the roasting pan. Don't forget to take the neck out of the other cavity of the bird. There's 2 things you can do with this. 1, add it to the roasting pan to help impart flavor. Or 2, add it to your stock pot when you're making stock. I'm going to go ahead and add it to our roasting pan. and we're going to go ahead and discard it when it's time to make our stuffing. Let's go ahead and finish stuffing all of this fruit into the cavity of our bird. The rest can go in a hotel pan. What we're doing now is we're separating the skin from the flesh of the turkey. I made a herb and salt and pepper mixture, and we're going to go ahead and rub that on the flesh of the turkey right underneath the skin. What we have here is salt, pepper, thyme, sage, garlic powder, and a couple other things. We then added olive oil to the mixture to make it more of a paste to help it be a little bit easier to spread. Make sure and rub it all over the turkey. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove the flaps from both wings. I like to do this because I don't like to tie the turkey, and I like to use the flaps to make stock. This stock we're going to use to enhance our stuffing and to make gravy. One of the things I like to do is I like to cook the bird upside down for a portion of its roasting process. This keeps the breast nice and moist and ensures that the bottom of the turkey gets nice and brown. We're going to go ahead and put that turkey in the oven, uncovered at 325 degrees. The cook time of an average bird is 13 minutes per pound, and we're going to cook this turkey through 3 cycles. Cycle 1, we're going to cook this bird upside down, uncovered. Cycle 2, we're going to go ahead and flip the pan around to ensure even roasting, and we're going to cook our turkey for cycle 2 this way. After cycle 2, we're going to go ahead and pull our bird out, noticing that the bottom is nice and golden brown. And we're going to go ahead and flip our turkey and get ready for cycle 3. Cycle 3 involves basting our bird, turning the oven up to 425 degrees, and then browning and finishing our turkey in the oven. Thank you very much for watching our first video, Conquering Thanksgiving, Volume 1, The Turkey. Please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, because we will for sure have more videos. As we leave you, here are a few shots of our finished bird. We hope yours turns out as wonderful and tasty as ours did. We'll see you for the next video.